And joining us now on the Book Talk segment of the show, great to welcome a woman who's put together a very interesting book for anybody who's going to be looking for, I guess, a second or maybe third career. It's called the Encore Career Handbook, How to Make a Living and a Difference in the Second Half of Life. We're joined by Marcy Albahert today. And Marcy, thanks for being with us. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Doug. Nice to be on the show.
Yeah, thanks for coming on with us today. I had a chance to kind of go through the book a little bit. I look forward to really getting into it because I think you've tapped a well there that a lot of people are going to be interested in. Obviously, people are staying in the workforce longer. Maybe they want to get a second job just to have something to do. So a lot of people out there are going to be looking for this kind of information.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're trying to do with this book, and I work for a non-profit organization, Encore.org, that is behind this work. We're really not looking for people who are just looking for something to do and keep busy. This book is really targeting people who want to make what they do matter in the world, who are looking for something not just to keep busy, but to use their talents and experience in a way that has some impact in the world. And that helps to make the world a better place for future generations. So we're trying to tap a particular nerve that really so many people are experiencing right now, which is you wake up at midlife or whatever age that is, and you say to yourself, is this all there is? Can I be contributing in a bigger way? And this book is really trying to help people figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. My parents, my dad, a lot of generations' parents, they would stay with a company or a job for 35, 40 years, and that would be it, retire, and that's the end. But obviously the whole workforce has changed. You don't stay with companies that long in most cases, so you're going to be looking for a different career at a certain age, maybe in your 50s, maybe as young as your 40s, right? So it's a whole different outlook out there.
Right, and the younger you start thinking about this, it's kind of like retirement planning, right? If you start early, you're in a better place when you get to this age where it suddenly hits you that it's time to launch into this next chapter.
I guess the first thing most people probably are looking for is, if they had a job, they're changing it, or for whatever reason, maybe they want to do something completely different, but they don't really know how to go about it. And I know your book goes into that. You have some different quizzes and assessments in there. I guess that's the first thing you should do, try and obviously figure out what you want to do, but how to get there. Right,
right, exactly. I see it as a two-part process. The first is figuring out the what, and then it's figuring out the how. And you may be approaching this already knowing the what, or you may know the what, and you kind of need to refine that idea and tinker with it and shape it and figure out how to implement it. So there's a lot of things to figure out, even if you have some inkling of what you want to do next.
I guess fear has got to be a situation a lot of people deal with. They're maybe a little afraid of making other changes. It can be fearful for a lot of people, for most people, I guess. But overcoming that to take a chance. I mean, you are taking a bit of a risk in doing this in your own mind. Not a physical risk, maybe, but emotional or just ego. So that's something you have to overcome, right? A lot of people have to overcome that.
Yeah, and you may feel like especially if you've been in the workforce for 30 years or so, you may look around and say, wow, things just don't work the way I was trained. Like the workplace doesn't feel like the place I grew up in. And I think that's something that a lot of people experience. And it would be one thing if you're going to hang on a couple more years and you can tweak it a little bit. But if you're trying to kind of remain relevant and have an impact, you have to know the tools that people use today. You have to know if there's a new kind of technology that's been really important in the field you want to enter. How do you do that new technology? And it's not just all about computer skills. Now that we have 3 and sometimes 4 generations working together, you have to also understand how young people work today and make sure that you're the kind of person who embraces new ideas and isn't kind of stuck in an old way of thinking.
You have certain terms in the book. I just want to give you a chance to explain a little bit, if you could. The Encore number, what does that mean?
Yeah, so, just as we've all been conditioned to think about retirement planning, our organization would love you to think about planning for your Encore as well. And there's a financial piece to that. How much money do you need to live the way you want to live in this next stage of your life? That could involve a relocation, a downsizing, a shuffling of priorities. And if you can get your financial house in order, you can have a lot of freedom about the work you want to do, but it's really hard to answer the question of what and how much and what kind of work until you know what your bottom line needs. What does your budget require?
You really have to be honest with yourself. I mean, brutally honest, don't you, when you do something like this? I mean, you just say, oh, that's a great thing I'd like to do, but there's realities involved, right?
Yeah, if you're going from earning, $80,000 to $20,000 or $40,000, what would it mean to make that change in your life? What would you have to change? What are you willing to give up? What are your must-haves and your like-to-haves? We have a lot of exercises in the book that can help you go through that a little bit.
I know you talk in the book as well, going back to school. I went back to school a few years ago, got a second degree at college, and I saw a lot of people in my age group. It was about half and half, I guess, college-age kids, and then 30s, 40s, and 50s. So you see more people doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, Doug, can I ask what you went back to school for?
I went back to get a second degree, actually, in a technical writing, technical media field.
Right. Yeah, I know what I find is, whether you want to stay in the game doing the same thing or you want to retool for something new, you're likely going to need to brush up your skills. And, young people realize this today. To survive and work today, you have to constantly be honing your skills and making sure that you're aware of the latest and greatest and the way things are done. And you are so right. Higher education is ready for you if you are going back, and you're not going to be alone. One of the biggest trends in education and in the workplace, because this is a growing field of employment opportunity too, is lifelong learning. We are a country where people are going to be needing to be educated at every stage of the game to stay relevant and competitive at work and to be as effective as they can be. And that's something you may want to take advantage of, and it's also an area you may want to think about working in.
Right. You talk in the book as well, and there's other issues that go along with any career change. I guess the biggest one would be fighting age discrimination. Is that still a big problem? Is it getting better, or what do you think, Marcy?
I can't minimize it because anybody who's gone through age discrimination knows there is nothing like, having a great response through an email exchange and then walking in the door and realizing that somebody is treating you differently than you thought they were going to treat you. So I think everybody's had that experience. But really the best defense against age discrimination is preparation, being prepared. You obviously knew if you wanted to stay in the game in media today, you needed certain kinds of new skills, right? So you went back to school, and that is the perfect example of how we can be prepared. And having a certain amount of humility, recognizing that you're going to have to learn new things, and you're going to have to show that willingness to learn new things. So if you could debunk some of the stereotypes of an older person who doesn't want to learn technology, who doesn't want to learn new things, who doesn't want to adapt to the way things are done in a certain culture, I think you will experience a little less of that age discrimination. You won't be able to cure it. But unless your encore is to work on curing age discrimination, what you really need to do is find places where your experience is valued.
Yeah, it's good advice. And you also talk about other things. We won't get into it now, but health insurance and that kind of thing. So that's all important information you have in the book. And the name of the book is called The Encore Career Handbook. We've been talking with Marcy Aberhart today. And Marcy, give out a website and get a hold of the book or get a hold of you if they like.
Yeah, so the website is encore.org. You can learn all about the Encore movement, millions of people who are dedicating these years of their lives to work that has some kind of social impact. You can buy the book anywhere the books are sold, online, at bookstores. And if you want to follow me personally, the best way to do that is on Twitter. My name is Hey Marcy, HeyMarci.
Oh, great. Well, I will go on and do that later today. I'll be a follower. That's great. That's a whole other dynamic, too, isn't it? The Twitter. People can follow you.
Sure, it's a perfect example, exactly.
Marcy, appreciate you taking a few minutes today, and hopefully we can talk to you again down the road. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.